Hello and welcome back to my channel, Lydia Lost the Plot. I'm Lydia and I am here today to give you 5 scintillating summer reads. The sun has been out. It has been absolutely glorious this week in, well, whereabouts where I live in England. And I have been loving giving lots of recommendations at work. I work as a bookseller at work to people going on their holiday and wanting some really good summer reads. Now, my summer reads are slightly unconventional because I'm not really a summer reader in terms of your, I would say, typical summer reads. So, you know, one set on a beach, one set in, you know, lovely beautiful islands with the sun, sea and sand and probably a bit of sex. That's not what I tend to gravitate towards, and you guys who are following me know that that's not really what I go for. But I have got some slightly alternative summer reads, so we will go straight into it. So the first one that I'm going to tell you about today is Girls by Kirsty Capes. Now, this is slightly bit awkward because it's a proof copy, but this is Girls by Kirsty Capes, and it's a road movie. It's a mother, daughter, sister trio on a long, hot, stifling road trip, and it's so brilliant. This book, when I first read it, I wasn't overawed by it. And then all of a sudden I found myself thinking about the characters and thinking about what they were doing and going back and wanting to go back into the book to read it again and read bits of it again and really start to contemplate what Kirsty Capes was able to do with this. It's really quite dark in places, but for some reason, when I think of summer, I think of this book and that hot, kind of sticky mustiness, humidity, you know, your hair's frizzy, you're a little bit tense, that kind of vibe. I mean, it doesn't sound particularly appealing, but the book itself is absolutely phenomenal and I really loved it. I mean, I tabbed it, so it must be good. But there was so much about this book that I really loved. And I'll just read you a little bit of it because I love this quote. It is a bit dark, just so you know, for a summer read. I'm going to die right here on this mattress and no one is going to know about it. I'm going to be one of those cases you hear about on the news where they don't find the body for weeks and weeks. And by the time somebody realises I'm missing, that I haven't been seen, all of the organic matter of my body will have rotted away and melted through the bed sheets and the mattress and the bed frame, and all that'll be left of me is this big brown smelly stain, and they'll have to get people in hazmat suits to come and hose me off the bed linen, and that's all I'll be remembered for. Now I know that's miserable, but isn't it just fantastic? My morbid curiosity as well, this really appealed to, and yeah, it doesn't shy away from the dark side of life, but also there's some fantastic characters. There's one character with an RV that has stayed with me for life. I will never ever let that character go. Just phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. And moving on to our next one, a little bit more conventional, and that's Romantic Comedy by Sittenfeld. Now, this is the proof copy. The romantic comedy cover is actually really summery. This is a bit plain Jane, but it's so much fun. It's basically about a woman who works on a Saturday Night Live-esque comedy sketch show, TV show, and she meets the guest star, and they embark on a kind of flirtation that moves into something more that kind of gets very complex, and it's so funny. I think when I think about summer reads, I like something with a bit of levity and a bit of lightness, and this really does that well. It's also set in California, so it's partly set in California, so it's kind of that weather, that beautiful sun, and it's just an amazingly funny, witty, irreverent book that I feel like it did quite well when it first came out, and then it's sort of gone away again, and I'd love to see more people read it, and I'd love to chat to more people about it. So if you have read this one, then please do let me know, because I would love to chinwag to you about it. I loved the concept of this woman being a comedy writer and having to sort of navigate the world of kind of macho comedians and an ego of pop stars, but also just so firmly rooted in reality that you just went with it. You just went with the whole thing. And I think, again, it's so hard to do comedy well. This was my first Curtis Sittenfeld, and it will not be my last, because I think she's a phenomenal writer. And I loved the way that she sort of created and embodied character throughout the whole of this. The plot is fine, it's good, but the characters are what I stayed for. It was just so good. So that is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. Next up on my list of summer reads is Body Friend by Katherine Brabon. Now, this is a absolutely claustrophobic, searingly good summer read, because it's so sort of self-contained, and it's all set sort of in this little bubble of this woman's world. It's a woman with a chronic illness. We don't know what her chronic illness is, but we just know that she's suffering every day in terms of trying to live in a chronic illness, or with a chronic illness, should I say. And she has two friends. She has one friend who is a get up and go, let's go do this, let's do this will help you recover, and another friend that is like, you need to rest, you need to lie down. And it's about the kind of antithesis of both of those characters, and the juxtaposition of those two approaches to recovery. And it's just so brilliant. There's great scenes of swimming and being out in nature, and it's a very expansive book, considering it's so self-contained, that I think it's just so wonderfully done. There are beautiful moments in it, and I think it says a lot about chronic illness. It says a lot about women and fragility and recovery, and how that kind of how pain and our relationship to pain can affect everything in your life. And I just haven't read anything like this before. It's just so phenomenal. And I think if you're looking for something that you can read by the pool that's got that extra layer of intensity and has that extra layer of complexity, then this will be a perfect holiday read for you. Because yes, again, like all of my recommendations, it's a bit dark. There are moments where, you know, it touches on difficulty in mental health issues and whatnot, but honestly, it's so good. And I think that with books like this, I don't feel like they get spoken about quite as often as they probably should. And so in my little corner of the bookish world, I do like to shout out books that I think maybe need a little push. This was nominated for the Stella Prize, and it's very popular in Australia, where Katherine Brabon's from, but I would like to see more UK readers get to it. So if this hasn't been on your radar, if you've not heard of it, give it a look up, read the blurb, see if it's a bit of what you fancy, see if it tickles your pickle, and get it on your list, because I really do think it's an essential summer read. Now, next up is another essential summer read for me, which is The Weekend by Charlotte Wood. Now, I mean, even the cover feels like summer, doesn't it? How nice is that? And this centres on 4 women, and they are older women. They're in their later years, and it's about their friendship. One of their friends has died. They go to her summer house where they used to vacation all of the time, and they have to sort of start packing up her stuff. They have to start getting everything sort of organised, and it's in blistering heat, and it's this long hot weekend where tempers are fraught, where old resentments lie, secrets are revealed, and it's so centered on women and friendship and love that it's just so, you know what I mean? And I couldn't put it down. As soon as I started reading it, I was like, this is immediately fantastic. I think it's Wendy. Yeah, Wendy is my favourite character. When you read this book, you will know why. Because if I am like Wendy when I'm older, I will be very, very happy. But it's such a great sort of snapshot of someone's life. And I feel like it's one of those books that you can go back to in different times of your life and revisit, and you're going to get different things from it because of your age, because of your experiences. And it's just really, really good summer read. I think if you want a book that you can devour by the pool over the course of a day, this is the book for you. It's so much about female friendship, about love, and I thought Charlotte Wood's got a beautiful, beautiful way of capturing characters. So much so that even in the space of a sentence, you can go from having never met this character before to immediately knowing exactly who they are by a turn of phrase, or by what they're wearing, or a brilliant description of the way they walk or the way they interact with their surroundings. And yeah, I just think Charlotte Wood's powers of description are unparalleled. They are so fantastic. And I really, really did enjoy diving into this one. Now, last but not least is a book that I have not read. That's right, I've not read, but I will be getting to this summer. So I thought, as a little project, we'll all get to this book if we haven't already. And this might give me the kick up the bum to read it, and that is David Nicholls' You Are Here. Now, I love David Nicholls. I've read everything he's ever written. If you are a big fan of One Day and what he did with that, and also it was just recently the adaptation on Netflix was fantastic. But if you loved that sentimentality and the way that he looks at the world, then I think we're going to enjoy this. It's described as witty and joyful, magnificent, and I just feel like it's going to be a really great, funny, light, but also very emotional, because David Nicholls is very emotional, funny and brilliant book. So I don't know that much about it because I like to go in sort of blind, but I do know it's set on this like long walk across the UK, and I think that, again, being out in nature, that feels like such a big part of summer to me. Being outside, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the weather when we get good weather, and just being blessed to, you know, be around people. I think that David Nicholls writes with such skill and such a beautiful, beautiful tone that I feel like this is going to be a great summer read. So I've given you 4 of what I would recommend, and then this last one is a book that I think I'm gonna like and I think you're gonna like. If you've read this already, please comment down below and tell me whether or not it is applicable to summer reads, because I really feel like it is. everything about it to me screams summer, but if it isn't, then I will stand corrected. But yeah, I'm super excited to get to this. So I hope that I've been able to give you some ideas for your summer reading list. We are coming up to August, would you believe it? And I feel like that is the peak summer month to be sat outside in the garden with a book, with a nice cold drink, and to just absolutely while away the days. And there's nothing better than a book in the sun, is there? So I hope that this video has found you well, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.